Genetics is not just a scientific field, but also an insightful journey into how the human body functions, develops, and reacts to the surrounding world. One of the biggest questions that genetic science is trying to answer is, why do we look the way we do? From eye color to height, from susceptibility to diseases to endurance, all of these are determined by our genetic code, or more specifically, by the DNA sequences, a highly detailed map that is passed down from one generation to the next. DNA, the genetic blueprint of life. When we talk about genetics, we cannot avoid discussing DNA, the material that decides the fundamental characteristics of humans. Imagine a thick book filled with more than 3 billion letters in every cell of your body. This is your genetic code. Every cell in your body contains a copy of this DNA, which instructs your body on how to survive. Scientists have found that the human body contains about 20,000 to 25,000 genes, each responsible for producing a specific protein. These proteins help the body grow, repair, and maintain functions, from cell regeneration to protection from harmful pathogens. One interesting fact: every cell in your body contains about 6 feet, 1.8 meters, of DNA. If you were to line up all the DNA strands, they would stretch about 10 billion miles, long enough to reach Neptune and back over 70 times. Not only is this an impressive figure, but it also demonstrates the complexity and precision of how the human body operates. Genetic variations, the differences that define us. Each of us carries unique genetic variations inherited from our parents. This is why we have different eye colors, heights, and even different susceptibilities to diseases. These genetic variations can be harmless, but they can also be the reason for health issues. One of the most obvious examples of how genetic variations influence health is cancer. Research shows that mutations in the BRCA1 and BRCA2 genes can increase the risk of breast and ovarian cancer in women. A recent study found that women who carry a BRCA1 mutation have a 72% lifetime risk of developing breast cancer, compared to just 12% in women without this mutation. Those with this genetic risk factor can be diagnosed early and treated in time to reduce the likelihood of developing the disease. Genetics and cardiovascular health. In addition to cancer, another area that genetic science focuses on is cardiovascular diseases. Studies show that about 40% of the risk of cardiovascular disease is linked to genetics. This means that if you have a family history of heart disease, you might be at higher risk for cardiovascular problems. One key gene linked to heart disease is the PCSK9 gene. Individuals with mutations in this gene may have lower cholesterol levels, which reduces their risk of heart disease. Genetics and diabetes. Type 2 diabetes, a chronic condition affecting the body's ability to process glucose, is another example of how genetics and lifestyle combine. While type 2 diabetes can be linked to diet and physical activity, if you have a genetic predisposition in your family, your risk of developing the condition is higher. Research has shown that individuals with a family history of type 2 diabetes have double the risk of developing the disease. Genetic science has also helped us understand the development and mechanisms of type 2 diabetes. For example, the TCF7L2 gene is linked to an increased risk of type 2 diabetes. Those who have mutations in this gene are 70% more likely to develop diabetes. This means that, besides managing diet and increasing physical activity, knowing your genetic risk can help you take preventive measures against the disease. Genetics and personalized medicine. One of the major advances in modern medicine is personalized medicine. Doctors can now use genetic testing to tailor treatments to an individual's needs. For instance, some cancer treatments are being developed based on the genetic characteristics of individual patients. For example, the drug trastuzumab is used to treat breast cancer in patients who have a mutation in the HER2 gene, which is related to the development of breast cancer. In addition, studies show that cardiovascular treatment can be optimized by using genetic test results. People with mutations in the PCSK9 gene may be prescribed drugs to lower cholesterol and reduce their risk of heart disease. Genetics and the future of medicine. The future of genetics promises to bring great breakthroughs. Gene editing technologies, particularly CRISPR-Cas9, are opening up new opportunities in treating genetic diseases. With CRISPR, scientists can edit the human genome, removing or replacing segments that cause disease. This opens up the possibility of treating genetic disorders that were once thought to be incurable, such as cystic fibrosis or sickle cell anemia. Advances in genetics are not just helping us prevent and treat diseases, but also improving our quality of life. Understanding and applying genetic research will be the key to improving global health, not only in medicine but also in other areas such as agriculture and environmental protection. In conclusion, genetics is not only a specialized field of science but also an essential part of shaping our future. With the rapid advancements in technology and research, genetics will continue to open up new opportunities for healthcare, disease prevention, and improving human life quality.